Yes.
Okay. I hope everything is set now. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. How was your day?
Nice.
Good. So we have SST, right?
Yes.
If I'm not wrong, this is our first SST class, right?
This one.
Like with me, this is the first SST class.
No. I remember two classes of SST with you before.
Okay. And what did we do?
We had done history and geography. One class for each.
Okay. So what do you want to study today? History or geography?
In geography, we have completed what the school has taught. In history, we have one chapter left.
Okay. So let's do history. Do you have any tests upcoming?
Uh, Test. So, which subject?
History, geography.
On Monday, I have a test. I will just check the subject.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is an ICT test on Monday.
Okay. And I think it will be the first chapter.
Yes, only
Okay.
the first chapter.
All right. I hope you're prepared well for that.
Yes.
Okay. So no test in geography or history.
Yes, should I send the chapter?
Yeah, you can send the chapter.
Okay.
Have you shared?
Yes, I have shared.
Okay.
My father is sending it on the main group.
All right. So until then, you can discuss about the topic. So what is the chapter's name?
It is the same chapter, but it is a part two of it.
Okay. And what does the part two contain?
It contains the Mesopotamian civilization.
All right. And I got your PDF. I'll just open it upside down. I'm sharing my screen. Just tell me if it's, um, I think it's visible for you, but then, yeah, is it fine?
Yes.
All. So the River Valley Civilizations Part 2. So Rehan, before that, can you tell me, whatever you remember about the River Valley Civilizations Part 1?
So basically, in the part one, it was in the uh, it was the Indus Valley civilization,
Yes.
and the people over there were very skilled. Um,
Yes.
in the cities, there was a raised part called citadel, and
Very
there were four social groups of people. In Mohenjo-daro, there was a great bath, and it was
good.
used for all the religious occasions.
Yes. And did we study about seals, granaries, statue of like a
Yes,
feast statue,
and there
right?
used to be lot of sales. There was a dockyard in Lothal.
Yes, very good. So trading used to happen, right?
Yes,
So these people from Indus Valley, used to trade with these people from Mesopotamia. Okay. We are going to study today about majorly Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Chinese civilizations. So India, especially the Indus Valley civilization, so there the people used to trade, they used to send import export goods to these civilizations. So let's start. Do you
okay.
have the, yeah, what are you saying?
I'm not seeing anything.
Screen is not visible.
I can see the screen.
Okay. So yeah, I was saying that, do you have the physical book with you right now?
Yes.
Oh, all right. So let's start. Read out the first paragraph.
Mesopotamia is Iraq of modern times. Here, a great civilization arose in about 5000 BC. Mesopotamia is a Greek word which means land between the two rivers. Or looking at the map of West Asia, we find that two great rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris, flowing through the region. Mesopotamia is the land between rivers Euphrates and Tigris. About 150 years back, archaeologists discovered the ruins of ancient towns and cities. They collected thousands of clay tablets with strange words engraved on them. Henry Rawlinson, a great archaeologist, was able to decipher these inscriptions. In this way, the secrets of ancient civilization of Mesopotamia became known to the world. The span of this civilization was from 5000 BC to 500 BC. The
That's
lower
all. That's
part
all.
of Meso
That's all.
yes,
Okay. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for reading out. So, do you know where is modern day Iraq?
no,
Hey, I'll show you. So basically, here we have Iraq. Let's understand. As you can see here, here is India, right?
right,
And here this one is Iraq.
okay,
It is India is here. Next is Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and Iraq. So this is modern day Iraq, but previously it was Mesopotamia. Yeah. So we are going to study about this part. Let's see what we have. Yeah. So this area was previously called Indus. This area, right? It was no India, no Pakistan, nothing. This was India. Are you watching a video?
hmm?
Are you watching a video?
No,
Okay, I can hear something. All right. So can you see this map?
hmm?
Can you see this map?
Yes,
So this is Indus, and this was Mesopotamia. Okay. So here we
okay.
have modern day Iraq. All right. So
Where
yeah.
is Tigris and the Euphrates in the map?
So this is Euphrates and Tigris, which is the river, which are the two great rivers. Let's see.
Where?
I'll show you. Tigris and Euphrates rivers. So this is Mesopotamia. Um, can you see it? This is Mesopotamia. Okay. Here is Tigris and here is
Hmm?
Euphrates, right? So this
Okay,
land is actually covered from every end by these two rivers, right? One part is
right.
the Tigris and one is Euphrates. Hence, when you read this land between the two rivers, this is why it was called land between the two rivers. Okay.
Okay,
So, in 5000 before Christ, in the year 5000 BC, Mesopotamia was, it started. The civilization started there. And Mesopotamia is a Greek word which means land between two rivers. So, just now I showed you the map of West Asia, right? I hope you know what is Asia.
yes.
Yeah. So, the western part of Asia, which is connected with Europe, there only we got Iran, Iraq, right? There only we got Mesopotamia. Did you notice?
No, that wasn't in Asia.
Yes, it was. I'll show you. So this whole is Asia, right? Yeah, this whole is Asia. This complete thing is
Yes.
Asia here, right? This is India. This is Pakistan. This is here is Iran and here is Iraq. Iraq is in Asia. Getting it? This is only Mesopotamia, this area, which is modern day. What is it? Modern day Iraq or Iran?
Iraq.
Yes. Is this clear why it is in Asia?
Yes.
So it is this area again. This is the river Tigris and this is the river Euphrates here, as you can see. So what happened? Mesopotamia, about 150 years back, archaeologists, the people who study history, they started discovering the land there. Okay, they started digging the land and every, the ruins of ancient towns and cities there. Okay, 150 years ago. So then they collected thousands of clay tablets. So clay tablets, small, small tablets made up of clay. And on these tablets, strange words were written. Okay, something like this. Clay tablets. Tamia. So 150 years ago, they found these type of tablets, small, small tablets, when they were digging the land there. Okay. So can you understand this language? What is written?
No.
Right? So this is what even they thought, that this, strange words are written, strange words are engraved on these clay tablets. So then Henry Rawlinson, who was a great archaeologist, he understood what was written. Okay. He was able to decipher these inscriptions, meaning he understood what was written, he decoded it. So it is kind of a code, no, which we cannot understand, but he tried to decode it and then he was successful, he understood what was written. So this
Okay.
is what decipher means. Yeah. So he was a great archaeologist, he did this. In this way he came to know about the secrets of ancient civilization of Mesopotamia. And that's how the world came to know about Mesopotamian civilization. Okay. And now we know that this civilization was from 5000 BC to 500 BC. So how many years did it last, Rehan?
4500.
Yes. Two paragraphs clear?
Yes.
Now you can read the next.
Okay. The lower part of Mesopotamia Valley was called the Sumer region. It was the heart of Mesopotamia. The people living in the Sumer region were called the
Sumerians.
Sumerians. They were the first to develop an advanced civilization in Mesopotamia. This is also called the Sumerian civilization.
Yes. So lower part of Mesopotamia, which was below it, somewhere here in the map, this area, which was below Mesopotamia. So this region was called the Sumer region. Okay. And people living
Okay.
here were very advanced. They were very advanced, and they were called Sumerians. And they contributed a lot to this civilization. Hence, this civilization is also called Sumerian civilization. Any questions?
No.
Okay. I hope you're not doing any multitasking here, Rehan.
No.
Okay. So next we have religious dominance. Read out.
Religion dominated the Mesopotamian civilization. There were priest kings to start with. They had both religious and state authority. From the very beginning, each city state had its own god. So the tradition of worshipping many gods continued even during the time of empires in Mesopotamia. The chief gods were worshipped were Enlil, Marduk, Asur, Ishtar, etc. The Sumerians had built many temples of gods. These were called ziggurats. These temples were decorated with statues of many other gods. Temples were made of burnt bricks. Colored tiles and marble slabs were used to beautify them. These were very high, almost reaching the skies, built in a series of tiers.
Yeah.
The Mesopotamians also worshipped the forces of nature, such as the sun and the moon, rain and the stars. They placed the statue of sun god at the highest pedestal and on the top story. The temple served many useful purposes. They were the center of education. They were also used as an observatory by the astrologers to study the planets and the stars. Sometimes the temples also served as a place of trade and commerce. The Mesopotamian people also believed in life after death.
Yeah.
They
So,
placed eatables and articles of use along with the dead body in the tombs.
thank you for reading out. So this was an area which was completely dominated by religious stuffs. Religion was practiced so much here. They were not just advanced people practicing science, but also they followed gods. Okay. So hence it is written religious dominance. So there what used to happen, there were priestly kings, meaning what? The king only was the priest. Getting it? So the king is the priest of the temple. So he will do pujas also, and at the same time, he will rule the kingdom also. But here in India, we have a different class of priests, right? Like the Brahman class. Next is the
Yes.
Kshatriya class, which is the kingly class, right? But there it was, both the class were same. One person only, with the same person was the priest as well as the king of the area. Hence the religious dominance, because king is the most powerful person, right? And if the king only becomes the priest, just imagine how much would be the dominance of religion there. Getting it? Any questions?
So why is the priest the king?
That's how they were, you know.
Okay.
So the person who used to rule the place, he must be very, religious. Like, do you know anything about Aurangzeb? Any idea?
No.
Aurangzeb was the last Mughal emperor who was very powerful. Okay, and he was orthodox, meaning what
Who?
he used to do. Aurangzeb was like the last powerful emperor of the Mughal empire. You will study about this in class 8. Okay, so he ruled India, and you know what he used to do?
What?
He used to go to all the temples in India, Hindu temples, and he used to destroy all of them, break all the temples, and make mosques there. So he used to break all the temples, and there he used to build the mosques for Muslims, and he forced the Hindus to become Muslims. Getting it? So what happened? Yeah, so he was very religiously dominant person. He was the king also, but at the same time he followed his religion orthodoxy. Meaning what? In Hindi, if you have to say, he was like very kind of cruel. Like orthodox means cutter. So he never worshipped, he never, allowed any other religion like Hindu religion or Jain religion to, prevail in India. He just forced everyone to follow his religion. So he was kind of priest king.
Okay.
Yeah. So many funny stories are associated with him. You know what happened once? So once he went to a temple and he sent his soldiers to break the temple. Okay. But the temple was very powerful. The god inside it was very energetic. So what happened? they all they got, you know, like some type of tsunami or something came there, and then they all, like, they just fell out of the temple. They couldn't even enter it. So you can just search after the class funny stories of Aurangzeb with temples. You will get a lot of stories because he was unable to destroy all the temples here. But yeah, he destroyed a lot of them. Still, the major ones he couldn't destroy.
Okay.
So yeah, so he was one of those priest kings. Okay. Similarly, here, as you can see, kind of Iraq and Iran is like kind of Muslim community, right? So even there
Yes.
they had priest kings. Okay. So from the beginning, each city had its own god. Meaning what? Let's say now also, if in India you see, let's say you live in Gujarat. So in Gujarat you have um, you know a god which majorly Gujarat people worship. Similarly, let's say if you live in Karnataka, Maharashtra, you know, Bengal, anywhere you live, so you will have one god which you will worship majorly as the state god. Let's say in Maharashtra, people worship Ganesha a lot. Similarly, in Bengal, they worship Kali a lot, right? Getting it? So
Right.
even there, they had a main god of a state, and each city in that state had its own god which they used to worship. Okay. So what happened then? The tradition of worshipping many gods continued even during the times of empires in Mesopotamia. Because see, if every
What is
state has a
empires?
empire means a kingdom, you know, let's say there's an empire. So this empire has a king which is going to rule this entire kingdom. Meaning, let's say he has 10 cities under him or 10 states under him. Let's say South India, all the states, Tamil Nadu, you know, Karnataka, Odisha, all these, Kerala, he has under him. So it is his empire, part of his empire. Now he's going to rule that area. Yes, clear?
Yes.
So now just think, Rehan, if every state has its own god, won't there be so many gods,
Yes.
right? So this prevailed. You know, many gods were worshipped during the empires, during times of empires in Mesopotamia, and then there were few chief gods like Enlil, Marduk, Asur, and Ishtar. So these were the chief gods, four gods, and hence, you know, the Sumerians, the people living there, they had built many temples of such gods. Okay,
Okay.
and these temples were called what?
Zigo, zi, Ziggurats.
Ziggurats. Yes. So these temples were again decorated with statues of many other gods. Like even today, if you see Indian temples, especially in South India, you know, everywhere, the temple, outside the temple, you can see so many gods are there, so many statues are there outside, you know, the outer walls of the temple. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So even they had these things. So let's say they are making a temple of Ishtar. Okay, the chief god is Ishtar. So this temple, it will be decorated with all the other gods, and the main god inside it will be Ishtar, like that.
Okay.
Yeah. How these were made? So they were made by burnt bricks, which was used, and then colored tiles were used, marble slabs were used to beautify them. Any question?
No.
So as you know, temples or mosques or any, you know, worship place, it is kind of, you know, prevailing to the sky, right? It's like kind of tall and long,
Yes.
right? So even there, the ziggurats were, you know, very high, almost reaching the skies. So, Rehan, can you tell me, like, I can hear a background noise. Is it any video playing or what is it?
No, actually, there's my father is actually also doing a class here.
Oh, okay, okay, no problem. All right. So, yeah. Any questions still here, Rehan?
No.
Okay. Then they also worshipped sun, moon, rain, star, like all the forces of nature. Even we prayed it, right? Even today we pray
Yes.
like trees and all, water, river, sun, moon, everything. Even they also did. So even they placed the statue of sun god at the highest pedestal and on the top story to show, to pay homage to it, right? To show respect. Then this again very interesting thing. So I'll tell you something. I hope you even know this. Uh, do you know in Europe, scientists were killed for being scientists? Do you know this?
No.
So in Europe, you know what used to happen? Let's say Rome or any in any country in Europe. If somebody used to be scientist, and you know people used to believe, Catholic people, they used to believe that Earth is flat. Even you must have heard this. People used to think before that Earth is flat,
Yes.
right? And Earth is not moving around the sun is moving around the Earth. They used to think like that, right? But then scientists came, even in Europe, and they proved that no, Earth is round and Earth is moving around the sun. You know, then what happened with the scientists? So actually, you should respect the scientists, right?
Yes.
But they used to kill them. This is what used to happen in Europe. But here, you know, especially in India or Mesopotamia, They were very smart. Scientists were very smart. Astrologers were very smart. Um, they used to serve the temple. They used to be the priest of the temple. So now just imagine this. In India, even today, there is one person who is respected by everyone. It is the priest of the temple. Yes or no?
Yes.
This is what they made. All these scientists, they were actually scientists, but they disguised in the form of priest so that people worship them, respect them, and listen to them, whatever they say. Getting it? So even this is how they wrote Vedas and all the Vedic scripts, Rig Veda, etc. It's all science disguised in the form of Veda. Okay. Even in Mesopotamia, the same thing. Temples were actually the center of education and observatory, scientific observatory, where astrologers used to study planets and stars. And also sometimes trade and commerce used to take place from there. Okay. And lastly, the Mesopotamian people also believed life after death. Hence, with the dead body, they used to store all kinds of eatables, articles, etc. Because they used to think, okay, this man is going to some other place now to live, and now he needs everything like food and all. But is it true? Does he really need food, Rehan?
No.
Right? Okay. Any questions to here?
No.
So you can see this image here. This is massive temple, which was built in ancient Mesopotamian valley. It is not anything modern or new. It looks huge, right? If you
Yes.
compare to that period. So even this had a terrace step. It was kind of a pyramid, which had stories 5 story, 9 story, like that, all levels. So similarly, sun god was placed in the highest story, on the top story, the highest pedestal. All right. Next, we have the three social classes. So there, upper class, middle class, and lower class was there. Upper class had all the ruling class kings, priests, noble laureates, high officials. Again, upper class, they had a very comfortable, luxurious life. Next, the middle class, it consisted of all the businessmen, landlords, merchants, artisans, craftsmen, etc. And they also led a happy life, but not much luxury. And finally, the slaves or the labor class. So slavery was prevailed even there, but slaves were not treated harshly. This is very important. Okay. Any questions in three social classes?
No.
Okay. So next up we have occupation and crafts. Before that, this is again very important point. Women occupied a very high position there, and they enjoyed great freedom and respect, and they could even own property. So if you see modern day Iran and Iraq, actually in the times of 1800s or 1900s, at that time it was completely different. Like right now, you can see they all wear some kind of burqa and all, right? They are like treated very harshly there. But previously, it was not like that. Is it boring?
Yes.
Okay. So read out occupation and crafts.
The land in Mesopotamia was very fertile as it was fed by rich soil silt from the two rivers after frequent floods. Agriculture was thus one of the main occupations of the people. They produced wheat, barley, pulses, vegetables, and fruits. Pottery was plentiful, and the forms of the vases, bowls, and dishes were manifold. There were special jars for honey, butter, oil, and wine. Some of the vases had pointed feet and stood on stands with crossed legs. Others were flat bottomed and were set on square or rectangular frames of wood. The oil jars were sealed with clay precisely as in early Egypt. The domestication of animals such as such as cows, goats, oxen, sheep, and asses, and using them for their benefit was another occupation of Mesopotamian people. Mesopotamian people were skilled craftsmen also. There were goldsmiths who made ornaments of gold, silver, and copper. There were blacksmiths who made tools, implements, and weapons, including helmets and armories. There were weavers who made cloth. They made glassware as well. There were potters who made pots.
Yeah, thank you for reading out. So this was the occupation there, people, especially the middle class. So they were craftsmen, right? They were skilled people. So first occupation was agriculture, right? Where they used to produce which crops, Rehan?
Wheat, barley, pulses, vegetables, and fruits.
Yes. And why do you think agriculture would be prevalent there? Why was it the main occupation?
Because it is in the middle of two rivers, so the soil is very fertile.
Correct. So that was the first occupation, the main. Next, also domestication of animals. So which were the animals?
Cows, goats, oxen, sheep, asses.
Yes. So they were used for their own benefit, and again, this was the second occupation. Next, again, people were very skilled, so they were craftsmen also. Goldsmiths were there who made ornaments of gold, silver, and copper. Also, blacksmiths were there who made tools and weapons. Okay. Next, the last occupation was a weaver who made clothes. And they also made glassware products and potteries. So, any questions in occupation?
No.
So, total how many occupations?
Three.
Okay, name them.
Agriculture, domestication of animals, and the goldsmiths, blacksmiths, potters, weavers.
Weaver is the fourth. Yeah. Okay. So, total four occupations. First, agriculture. Second, domestication. Third is, craftsman, and fourth is the weaver. Next, there is also someone by who was a great king. His name was Hammurabi, and this Hammurabi had a code of law. So let's see what it was. So he ruled from when to when?
Uh, 2067 BC to 2025 BC.
Yes. How many years?
Uh, 37.
37. Check, check. 627542. Okay. So he ruled for 42 long years. Hence, he was one of the great kings. Don't you think so? 42 is like really long year to rule some place,
Yes.
right? So he was a great king, and then he had his code of law. So let's see what it has. So main features were, first thing was that total laws were 282 in number. Is it less or is it too much?
Too much.
Okay. So hence his laws covered every aspect of life. So the code recognized the division of society, which was into rich, poor, and slaves. And then accordingly, he prescribed different punishments for different classes of this for the same crime. Let's say if a king does the same crime which the slave does, so king will get less punishment and slave will get more punishment because he belongs to the slave class. Isn't it unfair?
Yes.
Right. So he did this. This was his code of law. Here you can see on this here, this is the king, Hammurabi. And like this only, his code was also, inscribed on clay stones. The main principle was the strong shall not injure the weak. Okay, that was good actually. So this was the main principle. Any question in this?
No.
Then next, the code also contained rules about family life, trading, treatment of workers. Actually, he was a good king. He gave the rules how to treat the workers. Hence, slaves were not treated harshly there. Then trading, how to do trading, no cheating, and also the family life. Then
Okay.
let's see what is next. Oh, it's only till here. Okay. The next is system of writing. So where did you see this? Do you
The
remember?
clay tablets.
Yeah. So how we came to know about system of writing is very simple with the help of clay tablets. Okay. And the Mesopotamians were the first people in the world to develop the art of writing because they began it somewhere in 4000 BC by drawing pictures first. This is one of the scripts. Okay. Then can you see Indian Ocean here?
Yes.
Do you see India here?
Yes.
Right. So these are the trade routes. This arrow is the trade route from Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, the Indus Valley, Ganga is here, till
Yes.
Mesopotamia. And this is one of the trade routes. So read out this.
The Mesopotamians were the first to develop the art of writing in the world. They began it somewhere in 4000 BC, first by drawing pictures.
Yeah, this one. They wrote on tablets of clay.
They wrote on tablets of clay with the help of a reed or bone. It had a wedge shaped point. For this reason, their script came to be known as the cuneiform script. They wrote it with a sharp pen called stylus. They had developed 350 signs. They wrote from right to left like Urdu language script. After writing on clay tablets, they were dried in the sun or even baked in the fire. These can be seen in a London museum and have been deciphered by scholars.
Yeah. So that's what they wrote it on clay. And again, clay is what? It's wet, it's not dry, right? So they used to inscribe it on the clay first, then they used to either dry it up or bake it. And that's how they wrote more than 350 signs. They wrote from right to left, like modern day Urdu. And if you want to see it today, you can see it in the London Museum, where so many scholars have already deciphered this. Okay. Any questions still here?
No.
Okay. Then next we have growth of knowledge.
The Mesopotamians made a great contribution in the growth of knowledge. Thousands of clay tablets have been dug out from under the earth. At Tello in Sumeria, there was a big library having more than 30,000 tablets. The Tello library was perhaps the first library of the world. From these clay tablets, it appears that the Mesopotamians were interested in literature, especially in stories, poems, hymns, and epics. The Epics of Gilgamesh is world famous.
Yes, that's all. Okay. So growth of knowledge again, how do we know that they carried great knowledge is by seeing thousands of clay tablets. So thousands of clay tablets have already been, dug out from the earth. And Tello is a place which is in Sumeria. So there was a big library which had more than 30,000 tablets. And just imagine a library has books, right? And books are the greatest
Yes,
source of knowledge. Similarly, the Sumerian library had 30,000 tablets, meaning it was the first library of the world which was, carrying so much of knowledge. A very big library. Then from these clay tablets, it appears that, Mesopotamian people, Sumerian people, they were very interested in literature, especially stories, poems, hymns, and epics. Do you know what is an epic?
It is like a very big story
Yes. So, how do we know it that they were interested in this?
with the tablets.
Yes. And one of the famous epics was of Gilgamesh, which is like world famous.
Gilgamesh.
Yeah. Then Mesopotamians also had interest in mathematics. And number 6060 was an important number for them. And their system of counting was also sexagesimal, meaning 1 to 60. Also, as astrologers were there, astronomers were there. So Mesopotamians were quite good in astronomy too. Can you see these signs here? Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see 1, 10, 60, right?
Right.
Hence we know that their counting was sexagesimal. Then there was an observatory almost in every city. Okay, how do we know there was an observatory in every city?
Because these archaeologists went and they found all the observatories.
And was temple actually the observatory?
Mm, mm, okay, the temple is the observatory, and there are all the temples in every city because there's a different god in every city.
Yes, exactly. So from there they studied all the planets, stars, and gave names to these. Any questions?
Oh no.
So these five pointers confirm that they were having great knowledge. Okay. So now shall we play a short quiz?
Okay.
All right.
Hmm?
We haven't studied this, no?
No.
We need to study more. Did we play it on River Valley Civilizations Part 1?
No, we didn't.
What do you think?
Means
Mohenjo-daro was located. I hope you can see my screen.
no, your screen is frozen.
Okay, check now.
Uh, okay, yeah, now I can see the question. Indus. I don't know this.
Okay, then guess anything.
Ravi. All of the above. Burnt bricks. Mohenjo-daro. Middle Stone Age.
So, do you know Neolithic, Mesolithic, Paleolithic?
No, but in the chapter it is mentioned that it is
Neolithic,
Neolithic.
Neolithic, New Stone.
Harappa and Mohenjo-daro.
What was, good there? Like
Town
really good.
planning. Um,
You remember the map?
Pakistan.
In Pakistan, Sindh was there. In
Harappa.
Sindh, this you can answer.
Underground drainage system. Metallich.
All right. So let's quickly revise what we did today. So can you quickly tell me what are the two rivers which cover Mesopotamia?
Um, Tigris River and Euphrates River.
Yes. And what is it modern day called?
Iraq.
Okay. And the area below, Mesopotamia. What is that region called?
Sumer.
Yes, Sumer region. And people living there were called.
Sumerians.
Hence, the Mesopotamian civilization is also called as.
Sumerian civilization.
Yes. And who was the great archaeologist who, found all these sites of Mesopotamia?
Uh,
H.
Henry Rawlinson.
Rawlinson. Yes. And what was the major thing that he collected? Thousands in number.
Clay tablets.
So on clay tablets was something inscribed.
Yes, there was that a script of the language that the civilization used to speak and write.
Very good. And did H. Rawlinson, decipher it?
Yes, he deciphered it because he was a very good archaeologist.
Yes. And okay. So what was the period of Sumerian civilization? From when to when?
5000 BC to 500 BC.
Very good. And can you quickly tell me what is the meaning of Mesopotamia?
It means a land between two rivers of a Greek word.
Oh yes. Okay. And when did H. Rawlinson dug the site?
Um,
How many years ago? Okay. 150 years ago. Yeah.
okay.
So why was, the Sumerian civilization very religiously dominant?
Because the kings were the priests.
Oh yes. And which were the chief gods there?
Ish,
Enlil, Marduk, Asur, Ishtar. Yeah.
Ishtar,
And what were the temples called?
Ziggu,
Ziggurats. Yeah.
Ziggurats.
And what were they made up of? Temples.
They were decorated with the
Yes.
marble slabs, and it was made of stones and the statues of gods.
Yes. And burnt bricks. Yeah.
Yes, burnt bricks.
And also colorful types. Okay. What were the three social classes?
The rich men, the poor men, and the slaves.
Yeah. And majorly, if you have to say, you can say like this: upper class, middle class, lower class. Upper class consisted the ruling class, the priest, the king, the noble laureates, and the high officials. Second was the middle class, which included all the businessmen, the traders, the artisans, the craftsmen. And the third class was the lower class, which was the labor class or the slave class.
Okay.
Okay. Were the slaves treated harshly?
No, they weren't treated harshly because of the book of laws, so they needed to follow that.
And who, gave this code of law?
Uh, King Hurubari.
Yes, Hammurabi. Okay. How many occupations were there?
Three major occupations were there.
Three or four?
The agriculture, the domestication, and the craftsmen.
Also the weaver.
Yeah, but that is in the same
Kind of
paragraph of
craftsman.
craftsman.
Okay. So, yeah. So if in question it comes 4 marks, write in 4 pointers. If it comes in 5 marks, write in 5 pointers. If it comes of 3 marks, write in 3 pointers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. We are done then. Yeah. Any questions still here?
No.
All right. So in the next class, we'll start from Egypt, the gift of the Nile. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Your homework is very simple, Rehan. Just go through whatever we did today. Okay. And did I tell you
Okay.
to research something? I think I told you to,
No.
yeah, I think I told you to just search for funny stories associated with Aurangzeb, right? So again, what you
Yes.
can do, you can do a little bit research about Hammurabi, the
More.
great. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.